Hi everybody, we're looking at how to expand a single bracket, and to do this we're going to use the distributive law. So the distributive law states that if we have a term outside of a bracket, the solution can be found by multiplying what's outside the bracket by all of the terms inside the bracket. So in this case, a times b, this part, plus a times c, that part. And if we simplify this, we'll end up with ab plus ac. Typical of algebra problems, the multiplication symbol disappears. Now, we need to be mindful that distributive law says distribute over both terms in the bracket. The most common mistake is that the a times c gets forgotten, so please don't do that. And we can see with some numeric examples that using distributive law will give us the same answer as what we would get with BIMDAS. So BIMDAS would say do what's in the bracket first and then do the multiplication afterwards. So in this case, we would have 2 times 5, which is what happens over here. 2 times 5 will give me 10. Now using distributive law, I'm going to take what's outside the bracket, multiply it by what's inside the bracket. 2 times 3, that's here, plus 2 times 2, that's here. 6 plus 4 will give me 10, the same answer I got with BIMDAS. Let's try another one. 5 times 3 take 2, 3 take 2 is 1, 5 times 1 is 5. Got that over here. Using distributive law, 5 times 3 here, 5 times negative 2 here, 15 plus negative 10, or 15 take 10, will give me 5, the same answer I got with BIMDAS. Negative 2 times 4 take 2, 4 take 2 is 2, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, there's my BIMDAS solution. Negative 2 times 4 plus negative 2 times negative 2, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8, negative 2 times negative 2, negative, negative, positive. So negative 8 plus 4, so I got here, will give me negative 4. Last one, negative 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. That's what we have there. Negative 3 times negative 3 will give me 9. Negative 3 times negative 4 will give me 12. Negative gives me positive, negative gives me positive. 9 plus 12 is 21. So all the numeric examples of distributive law give us the same answer as BIMDAS, as would be expected. Now where this becomes more useful is when we do it with algebraic expressions. So let's have a look here. 2 times a plus 1. Now we can't simplify a plus 1 with BIMDAS anymore, so this is where distributive law comes into play a little bit more often. We can expand this and simplify it by multiplying it out. 2 times a plus 2 times 1, 2 times a plus 2 times 1 will give us 2a plus 2. We can't simplify any further because we can't collect terms that are unlike. 2 times a times 2 plus 2 times a plus 2 times negative 1, 2 times a plus 2 times negative 1 is 2a minus 2, 2a minus 2. 2 times negative a plus 2 times 1. 2 times negative a is negative 2a, 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 2 times a plus negative 2 times 1, negative 2 times a plus negative 2 times 1, negative 2a, take 2. Negative 2 times negative a, negative 2 times 1, negative 2 times negative a is just 2a, negative is positive, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And by now you should be able to see that if you're not careful with the negative numbers, the answers become wrong quite quickly. Where you have two negative expressions multiplied together, they will become positive. One negative, one positive, they will be negative. When we get to multiplying two variables together, our index scores come into play. A times a, we can remember from before, is a squared. A times 1 is just a. When we're multiplying variables with coefficients, multiply the coefficients, multiply the variables. So in this case, we've got 2a times 3a, which will give us 6a squared. That's where that comes from. 2 times 3 is 6. A common error is to add these. I'm not sure why, because we're multiplying. That if we expanded this, it would be 2 times a times 3 times a. So let's do it over here. This would be 2 times a times 3 times a. That's this part here. And if we rearrange that, we would get 2 times 3 times a, which is 6a squared. Definitely not 5a squared. So if we take 2a times 3a, we get this. 2a times 4, don't forget the second part of the bracket, that becomes 8a. Gets a little bit more complicated when we introduce negative signs. So 2a times 3, that's here. 2a times negative a, so that will give us 6a. And negative 2a squared. Negative times positive will give us a negative. Negative 2a times 1. Negative 2a times negative a. Negative, negative, that'll become positive. 1 times negative 2a is just negative 2a. Now as you get better at this, you can drop this middle intermediate step and go directly from here to here. But I suggest not doing it too early, because you're prone to error until you're thinking it through correctly, and that's why I've gone through it in such detail to make sure that your thinking is correct. Now we can also do it for 3 terms in a bracket. So if we have a times b plus c plus d, it just becomes ab plus ac plus ad. Here's a couple of quick examples. 2 brackets a plus 2b plus 2c equals 2 times a is 2a, 2 times 2b is 4b, 2 times 2c is 4c. Or negative 2 times negative 3a plus 4b, take 3c. Positive 6a, negative 8b, positive 6c. Now, practice is required to ensure you get the signs correct, the coefficients correct, remembering to multiply and not add, and any simplification that you do is done correctly. This intermediate step here will help prevent many issues when you start out, until the process becomes really automatic and you don't have to think about it anymore. Thank you, everyone.